Let's go. Late night PHL action. I might stay up all night. I might stay the freak up all night. I'm wired up and fed up. Like I really am mad. There's a piece of me. There is a chunk, a big old chunk of my chubby rear end. My chubby rear end that is disappointed. Where was this all season? I know we're going to talk about the game, and I know we're going to talk about basically who the next coach will be. But I'm telling you, what I talked about on Monday, the predictability issue. The predictability issue. We become unpredictable on defense with backups in the entire secondary. Not a single starter on defense in the secondary. Outside of Jay Ward. And we have by far, our best defensive effort. Because we finally had Ed Orgeron state the obvious on Monday. I do think, and I do know, that it is really hard to be a first-year coordinator. But where was this defense all season? So we're going to talk about that. Where was this team all season? Why didn't Ed Orgeron coach every other game just like he coached tonight? Against by far our best, this is by far the best team we played. With the least talented roster that we've had. It's coaching. Tonight is a perfect example that everything is coaching. Everything. Every last little thing is coaching. This 20-14 loss is coaching. As we welcome in LJ, Guy, Turd, Don. This is such a great comment. I'm texting from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where I am retired. This is my first night commenting on your channel. Native of New Orleans. Love your comment interactions. Absolutely. So it's cool to have 50 people right here. And we did a pregame show. We weren't able to do it halftime. And we're doing this postgame show. I don't know how long we're going to do it. I still got to do the film study that will be tomorrow, or excuse me, tonight at 7 p.m. Central. And we're going to talk about some of the blitzing alignments. So, full disclosure, this is just something that I've been saying. All we have to do is just be slightly unpredictable on defense. I'm telling you, the Ole Miss game would have been totally different. We gave them the game defensively. What's up, Paris? It looked like a Dave Aranda defense. That's all it was. So, as always, super chats, cash apps, those always get the first dibs. If you're a first-time commenter, we're always going to welcome you to the channel. I'm pretty fired up about this. I know I'm angry that not that we lost. I'm not angry that we lost. We were supposed to lose the game. It's just that this team was good enough to not be a 5-loss team, right? And I will also say this. Durante did run some 3-man fronts tonight. Where was this? And I kept saying this over and over and over again. And I don't know if it was Ed Orgeron being embarrassed by his comments earlier this week. I have no idea. I wasn't able to see the Ed Orgeron press conference. If someone can enlighten me, if someone asked Ed Orgeron about the new defense that we saw tonight, I wasn't able to watch it. So the reason why we had to push the post game back is my former teammate. And if you played sports, you know how important your teammates are. My former teammate had a wedding tonight, and he asked me to DJ the wedding. And I normally don't take fall gigs. Um, just say no to midnight lives. Danielle, our first super chatter. Thank you so much. So I normally don't take fall gigs, but I take teammates gigs. And he really wanted me to do it. It was a great time. And they did let me watch the game. I have a DJ partner, so it worked out just fine. But I wasn't able to focus on the game. The first thing was obviously the event I was booked to do. And that's why we have to do the midnight live. But there's 54 of you in here. And guess what? We're going to party. Because this is good that our guys went out there, fought their tails off. And like I've said from the get-go, it is BS that these guys did not play hard. They have been playing hard all season. They just needed to be put in better places. And look, our roster is not a national championship roster, but that roster you saw tonight is a 10-win roster. A 10-win roster. That should have been I thought it was an 8 or 9-win roster. But with the way that I've seen every other team on our schedule, UCLA is garbage. You guys see some of the other teams. Kentucky's not really that great. We should have done better. Enough IPA. Huh? LJ, what's good? That offense does zip to help that D back to back and 3 outs. And while the D is playing well. Yeah, so, I wasn't able, you guys know I like to break down every single play. So full disclosure, I wasn't able to see like full play sequences, but we will need to talk about what a lot of you are talking about in the live chat tonight. Max Johnson was really bad tonight. And I tweeted out the clip before this live stream tonight. And it's what really stinks, as KMC says here, Max Johnson was horrid. O said Nuss didn't play because he's going to redshirt him. Absolutely unacceptable. How are you going to redshirt the only other QB? I agree with that. It doesn't make any sense. I think if Ed Orgeron would have gone to Nuss and say, look, you might not ever get this opportunity. You might not ever get to play Alabama on the road ever. Here's a guaranteed chance for you to play. I don't know if Ed Orgeron, and this is why the media is going to have to press him. I don't know. Once again, I haven't been able to see the press conferences, but there are going to be some very important questions to be asked on Monday of Ed Orgeron. Here are the 2 questions. The first is, did you go to Garrett Nussmeier and say, look, do you want your red shirt? Right? Because once again, you guys were able to watch every single play, look at the body language and all of that. I was able to catch a good chunk of the plays, but as Max points out, these route combinations need to be thrown out the window along with pizza and mangus. The play calls were also horrific. So let's talk about the play calling. All right, let's talk about the 4th and 9 before the final drive. I thought the 4th and 9 call was really good. The 3rd and 9 call was really bad. So LSU had to burn a timeout before the 4th and 9 call, which was really bad. You can't burn a timeout there because that loses another opportunity for you to stop the clock on the other end. And that ended up being huge. Okay. So you can't burn a timeout there on 4th and 9. The 3rd and 9 play was really, really, really bad. Okay. There was no excuse for the 3rd and 9 call. You have to run a play that cuts the yardage in half, especially with a limited quarterback. Also, on 3rd and 9, every single time, and this is going to be the next wave of football, right? The next wave of football is going to be the coaches that know how to manage that part of the field really well, okay? So Blake's reporting that Nuss and his dad both asked for red shirt in case he needs to transfer. Well, Nuss and his dad were given bad advice, or they made a bad decision, right? I just don't get it. You have to seize your opportunities, right? If I have the opportunity to play Power 5 football at the highest level, which is on the road against Alabama, I don't give a you-know-what about my red shirt, right? Who knows? You could have gone out there, saved the day, and if you would have gone out there and won this game tonight, you would have been the starting quarterback forever, and you would have had the best win in college football. If Garrett Nussmeier is a true freshman, would have gone out there and won this game versus Alabama, his name would never be forgotten, right? So yeah, that just doesn't make any sense. You shot. Never trust a lefty starting QB. Nuss, you're up forever, LSU. So yeah, I do feel good about our effort tonight. Don't take my anger to start the live stream as something that I'm angry at the players for losing the game. I'm not angry that the players lost. I'm angry that we weren't put in these positions. I mean, we were cross-dog blitzing. We were bringing pressure off the edge. We were giving them different looks. We were dropping BJ off. I mean, it was just excellent. It really was a great defensive game plan. Now, I will say this, right? The deep touchdown to Jameson Williams, you just can't give up that deep crosser that easy. They were going to pop you at some point when you're playing 5 backups. So the fact that we only gave up that explosive play TD, especially late in the game, is really special. And honestly, I mean, we were going to give up an explosive play touchdown, but that was bad. That was bad. Okay. So to follow up on all the Max Johnson comments, look, I like Max's moxie. There's a lot of things you do like about him, but this was even the case last year in the Florida game. Okay, so you had the 3rd and 9 situation. When you have a quarterback who's struggling, you've got to call a screen, you got to call a draw to make it a manageable 4th and 9 or a 4th and 5, right? Because it opens up your opportunities, okay? So then you come out of the timeout and you call the perfect play. So for those that weren't able to see it, the 4th and 9 play to Jack Besh over the middle is an egregiously bad miss, right? That is the same exact play call. LSU versus Texas, 3rd and 17. They ran an all-out blitz, okay? So normally when you're at that point in the field, teams all-out blitz you, okay? They blitz this on 3rd and 9. And when you're right there, you have to know they're going to blitz, because if you blitz on 3rd and 9 from that point in the field and you get a sack, you force them to make a decision as far as punting the football or not. So on 3rd and 9, we didn't call that good of a play. Then on 4th and 9, we called a perfect play. All verts and a crosser to our best wide receiver, which is Jack Besh now. And the ball was there. Cole Arsenault. There's a lot of Arsenaults in Lafayette. So the bottom line is Max played bad tonight. In the one game where we needed him to just play decent, if he played LSU Florida good, we win the game. We win the game. We probably win the game by a touchdown. So it's bad. Yeah, and this throw was honestly a little bit easier, right? So Max has regressed. And once again, this was a case versus Mississippi State where he missed Jack Besh that would have sealed the game. Okay. Then LSU versus Auburn. I can't tell you how many misses he had in the 4th quarter. Had a miss on a deep dig route to Trey Palmer in the late 3rd. Also had Kayshawn on an out in the 4th quarter on the final drive that would have moved the chains. He also missed Jack Besh on a 3rd and 2 when we were up by 2. He was just bad. Max was just really, really, really bad in crunch time. He's been horrible in crunch time. Even in the Florida game last year, missed 2 big throws, and it didn't matter because someone threw a shoe, right? So Max Johnson is having some major 4th quarter issues. I don't know if it's pressure getting to him. It looks like that. And it's a lot of pressure for a true sophomore quarterback, but Max has serious crunch time issues. And some people just have them. Some people just crumble under pressure. And that's the thing, as a quarterback, you can play a bad 3 quarters, but if you make those big throws in the 4th, all is forgiven. So yeah, Should have taken the field goal on 4th down. Defense was doing well. Okay, so when the score is 20-14, the missed Trey Palmer touchdown. If we had that 3 and then ended the game where we were, we could have had another field goal to tie the game. I like aggressive, but need smart versus Saban. So, look, I don't have the 4th down bot in front of me. I use a 4th down bot that everyone uses from Zach Lee in Utah. I probably would have kicked the field goal there as well. You have an elite field goal kicker, so you know it's going to go in that spot. Also, another reason why I would have kicked the field goal is, once again, it's not a slight on Trey Palmer, who had a pretty decent game tonight. Trey Palmer is not a good red zone receiver, and him and Max don't have contested ball chemistry. For whatever reason, there's a lot of throws that Max Johnson has just barely been off with Trey Palmer in the end zone. Even the touchdown versus Nice, Trey almost dropped it. They just don't have the tight chemistry on those 50-50 balls. And even though the ball was in heavy coverage, Trey had a shot to make a really spectacular catch there. He's an elite athlete, but still, it was a tough catch. It was catchable. And when you're on the road against Alabama, you know, that's not Jamar Chase on the other end right there. It's not Ruben Randall or whoever that, you know, is going to step up for you against Alabama. So it sucks. It really does. Once again, Max could have been better on that play, and I can't wait to rewatch the game. Let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about this. You got to keep in mind, Max got sacked 5 times, and Anderson was in his grill all game. You can't blame him for feeling anxious. Don't think Nuts would have solved all our problems. So let me touch on this, Blake, because that's the issue. Okay? This is what we have been talking about on this channel for so long. When you play Alabama, okay, not everything's going to be perfect, especially when you're in their house, okay? Especially when you're there. Especially when your offensive line is banged up, right? So when that happens, you need a quarterback who can overcome those things, right? Because, once again, just using Joe Burrow for reference, you don't have to be Joe Burrow good to win a national championship, but the truth is, Joe Burrow was also under a lot of pressure in that 2019 game, right? If you want to get, you know, really deep, even though we won the game 9-6, Justin Jefferson also made some high pressure plays on the road against Tuscaloosa in Tuscaloosa. You got to make those plays, right? And that's the thing. Bama had a quarterback who was just better than ours tonight, right? And Bryce, all things considered, was actually really good tonight, because if you do a lot of film study, what the film study would tell you is LSU runs a basic static defense, and tonight we did a bunch of different things on film that they had not seen yet. Now, if I hear on Monday the reason why we didn't do some of the things we did tonight defensively is because we were saving it for Bama, if I hear that, I'm going to jump in an erupting volcano, right? Every game is precious. You got to win every game. You got to win. You can't go to the playoff with more than a loss, right? So what really pisses me off is that we didn't get to see this all year for whatever reason. It's just ridiculous, right? That, you know, we get to this point and, you know, we lose, right? The UCLA game could have been won by Max, right? He missed Trey Palmer on the wide open 65-yard touchdown. He scrambled 20 yards backfield so many times, even when our blitz pickup was good. It's just the truth, right? Max is an issue, right? He probably should have never been a player until year 3 of his development anyway. And that's it. You know, some guys just aren't able to overcompensate playing at such a young age. Thank you, Don, all the way in Mexico. First time super chatting and your first time commenting. I really do appreciate you. Max just needs to go to a different team, less pressure, new QB next week. Yeah, so the truth is Max is not a bad quarterback, right? It's just when you play at LSU, there's just some guys just can't handle the pressure. And the thing is Max, yes, he holds onto the ball too long. Yes, his pocket presence is off. But the thing is, when those things aren't good, you need to overcompensate that with accuracy, right? If you aren't a strong arm quarterback and you're not a threat to run the football, the one thing you need to be is deadly accurate. And he is not. And this is also an interesting comment. Sip, I appreciate you, man. You've been in the chat all night. I really do appreciate your support. As always, you've been with me for a while now. Max makes our O-line look bad. I'm convinced. There's some truth to that, right? So LSU's offensive line, I mean, you're not going to confuse them for, the Dallas Cowboys anytime soon, right? Still, there are studies that prove that the quarterback makes the protection more so than vice versa. Max holds onto the ball too long. His footwork can get very noisy. And once again, there needs to be clarification. Now, I wasn't able to listen to the Ed Orgeron press conference. I chose to rewatch certain points of the game. I just got home, and I have to say this, right? We need to do a better job of asking questions. We need to do a better job of figuring out these answers, because it's amazing what happens when Ed Orgeron says publicly that that his defense and offense is predictable, particularly the defensive side of the ball, and that changes in less than a week, right? So when you hold Ed Orgeron accountable and when he says these things change, right? Max holds onto the ball too long to get himself sacked. Pegasus, what's good? I don't know why my clicker's not working. Okay, there we go. At this point, is it in love with Max or is it in love with Jake Johnson? Yeah, I don't know. Jake Johnson's really good, but I don't think he's worth. I don't think he's worth, nepotism for the quarterback. And it's just no other way around it. Let's see here. Just amazing, though, right? Also, I'm gonna say something that's not gonna sound right, but your scheme, if it's so bad, matters so much more than your athletes, right? So players always win over scheme, but when your scheme is as predictable as LSU's been, I mean, look at this. This was the lowest yards per play a team has had on us all year, 4.9, right? And this is the most hurt our defense has been all year. What changed? Well, we were better coached tonight. See, Max is a sophomore, not a fifth-year senior. Max is rolling out to the right side. The plays and keep take longer to develop. Therefore, Max has to hold on to it longer. Okay, so Ryan, trust me, I agree with you. Max shouldn't be playing, right? If Miles was healthy, he would still be the starter, based on what we saw last year and where we are now. Okay. With that said, there comes a point where some of it is just because you are a second-year player. No, that's a pretty big reason, but there are also basic throws you have to be able to make no matter how old you are, right? And when your sample begins to increase, because look, here's the issue, Ryan, is Max's best games were last year, okay? So let's go through the games. Let me just put it this way, okay? Let's pull this up right here. Share screen, because I want to show you something, because I don't want this to just be pile on Max. Football's a team game, right? But your quarterback does have the biggest impact on your game, right? And I want you to go through the schedule, and I want you guys to go through this with me together, okay? UCLA, was Max phenomenal against UCLA? No, he was bad. McNeese, was Max phenomenal against McNeese? No, he was bad again. Now, he was phenomenal against Central Michigan, had a phenomenal first 3 quarters against Mississippi State, had a really good first half versus Auburn, bad versus Kentucky, meh versus Florida, bad versus Ole Miss, bad versus Alabama when we really, really needed him, okay? So, Ryan, you know, I don't feel like saying he was bad is being too harsh. I think he would tell you the same thing. And I hate it for him. I really do. He is only a sophomore. And once again, he still could end up being a really great quarterback, right? There's a lot of Matt Flynn to Max's game. And you make a good point. Matt Flynn was able to be a fifth-year senior. Joe Burrow was able to play his best ball as a fifth-year senior. So all that being said, you still have to state harsh truth. And I'm not the only one saying this, but it's just the truth. How many times can you say Max was exceptional on this schedule? Okay. How many times can you say it that Max was exceptional? Okay. Then the second question you have to ask is, how many times has Max been exceptional without Kayshon Boutte? All right, Florida, meh. Ole Miss, not great. Alabama, not great. Okay. So now we're getting a bigger sample here, Ryan, and we're getting we're getting more red flags. Okay. Missed throws in the fourth quarter. This has been every single game. Every single game Max has played. Missed a ton of, or just second half throws. Okay. Defenses are adjusting. Game is getting tight. Palms are getting sweaty. And Max missed a bunch of second half throws in the Florida game. Ton of second half throws in the Ole Miss game last year. We got plenty of film studies on those 2 games. Okay. UCLA game, missed a ton of big throws in that game. A ton. Obviously, tonight versus Alabama, made a big throw to win the game for us against Florida on that 4th down. Give him a lot of credit for that. But it's an issue. It's an issue. Again, the offense was terrible. It's not Pizza or the O lineman. It's been Max mostly. Yeah, I would say probably 50% of this is on Max. And then some of it's no Kayshon. Some of it is not an elite offensive line. TDP's fumble was also huge in this game, as you guys know. We haven't mentioned that yet. So, yeah. Yeah. And you know, I did a Twitter thread really late last night on this thing, right? You know, you hear this all the time in sports about like quick twitch athletes. Max doesn't play fast, right? It looks as if everything is not moving quick enough, right? So, you know, that's part of the issue. Something that I really like about Bryce Young is he processes information really fast. Okay. Bryce got a lot of different looks that he had never seen on film from LSU. So, once again, that's not excusing Bryce Young's very mediocre performance tonight himself, but still, I defend him to a certain degree because he probably had no idea what he was looking at. Okay. So, yeah, you know, it's wild. And some of it is also Bama's not that great. This is by far Saban's worst team. By far. This is worst team since the playoffs started. 2014 is probably his second worst, but even that team was okay, right? That's really saying something. 2019, that was his most talented roster, ironically, and that was a team that didn't make the playoff. But yeah, Bryce Young, 24, 70, 37, 302, 2 TDs. I mean, he was really good tonight. It's just no other way around it. And that's the difference. You saw tonight how important five-star quarterback play is. Elite quarterback play can overcompensate a lot. You're an LSU fan in Columbus? That's pretty wild. I love it, man. I love it. I'm gonna get this up there. Got to put this up there. What is everyone's thoughts on these young defensive guys playing better than all the starters played all season? Big props to the defense tonight. Yeah, Daniel, let's talk a little bit more about this LSU defense. You know, based on what I saw, once again, I'm going to do my rewatch here in a few minutes after this live stream's over. And a lot of it is scheme. A lot of it is scheme. A lot of it was Durante opening things up. It's amazing how much better. If we would have called the defense tonight that we would have called against UCLA, we beat them by 2 touchdowns. It really is just that simple. Even if Max misses those throws, because you notice when you give variety and you blitz, you put them on their heels. Those blitzes were filthy, right? Had a good linebacker. I called it a cross dog. It wasn't really a cross dog, but it was a good linebacker blitz that we had. I mean, it was just really good. And also, you know, you go back to last year, our best defensive play, the Eli Ricks pick six, was set up on first down by a really good blitz call by Bo Pelini. And that's the thing. When you blitz, that and it's ironic you bring this up, Danielle, and I'm glad you do. LSU's had one really elite double-digit sack master that was just a pass rusher. It was Arden Key. Now, we've had other good pass rushers, but if you look historically, we are a blitzing team. That is the framework of Chavis's tenure was Tyrann Mathieu, Ron Brooks, Jalen Mills, blitzing. The Aranda tenure was different sub packages. Grant Delpit in 2018 led the team in sacks. So, you know, imagine Sage blitzing. Sage Ryan is a perfect blitzing player. We didn't get to see him tonight. He is an elite athlete with, you know, really good ball skills based on what a lot of you in Lafayette saw. You know, that's we don't win national championships if it's not for past defenses being elite blitzers. And we just haven't had that all year. And tonight we did. So also it was interesting. I'm glad you brought him up, Zay. Ray Darius Jones has never gotten his opportunity. He's got some fight to him, right? The one thing you can never, he had the stupid penalty versus Florida. Ray Darius got some real gusto to him. I don't know if he's any good. The sample is way too small, but he looks decent at this point, right? So yeah. Neil Farrell's had a great year all year, right? He really has. No other way around it. King Ulysses, what's up, man? Tonight's defensive scheme was elite, especially down. Also, Farrell. Yeah, as you know, King Ulysses, we brought this up in last week's live stream. I think Neil Farrell will get drafted. His tape has been really good tonight. I mean, he's been this year. He's been moving bodies all year, right? I think he could play. I think he could play at the next level. I do. I really do. Ray Darius might be a future slot guy too. I mean, he's got some wheels. Let's see. Can't stay long. I got church worship practice at 7 a.m. I got to give Zay this. He's been anti-Max from the get-go. Like before the season even began. Cavantre, I don't know. Remember that Jure interception was so weird. It's typical Bama luck that a ball bounces on a 50-50 ball. Dre probably should have caught it. Still right into Alabama's hands for an interception. Bama gets so freaking lucky. But anyway, Jure led the team in receiving again. Once again, Jack Besh was our best receiver. Again. I mean, it's amazing what Jack's been able to do this year. Wait, the clock rolls back an hour tonight? Is that true? Is that tonight? So do we lose an hour or do we gain an hour? We lose an hour, right? I didn't know. No wonder, Guy Fawkes. Remember the 5th of November. Interesting. I know your name's always been Guy Fawkes, but that's interesting. We gain an hour tonight out of any night. I'm glad we're gaining an hour. So we really got to keep this party going. Oh, man. We're gaining an hour tonight. I've seen enough of Spencer Rattler. I don't know if I want that. I do not know. We gain an hour. And I think this is how I feel, right? I think this is really well said. And Corey, I think this is your first time in the chat. I also love the Yoda. I love that. There's a really good comment right here. I don't want a quarterback. You know what's interesting? I want to bring up someone that I like a lot, and we're talking about him not too long ago. Offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, Byron Leftwich. When he was at Marshall, things never really just went his way. But he was a great quarterback because he was always able to overcome it, right? Don't give me a quarterback where everything just needs to be perfect. All right? I don't want a quarterback where everything just needs to absolutely positively fall into place. It should be the opposite, right? Give me a quarterback that wins your offensive lines awards, right? So, that's the thing. I don't want, you know, you guys saw how bad Max really wanted it at the end, and he screamed an expletive on the field. He's played hard, so as you guys come here for as objective criticism as we possibly can of our dear beloved LSU Tigers. So I hate criticizing players, right? But I'll tell you this. Jason Hines looked better tonight. We had some really good performances. Just based on what I saw, Liam, who had a good game against Alabama last year, played fine. Had to play through an injury tonight. So it's wild. It's really, really wild, right? He seems like a real cool friend to have. Yeah, he seems like a fine guy. He loves ping pong. Anyone that knows how to play ping pong, is a cool dude. I'm dead serious. Think about all the buddies that you played ping pong with. Most people would probably consider them good dudes. Now, if you have a buddy who only likes to play pool, probably a jerk, right? Pool players, 75% of the time, they're jerks. If they play a lot of pool, got to have a jerky mentality. Whereas in ping pong, everyone that plays ping pong's cool. Anyone knows that to be true. All right, and we get to this. You guys know how I am about QBR, right? It's my favorite quarterback stat. And King Ulysses informed me that his QBR was 32. Okay, so let's take a look. Max Johnson, I trust you. King Ulysses, and it was 35.2. Right? So let's go through this, right? What is QBR? Okay, so I'll pull it up. Okay, I'll pull up Max Johnson's QBRs, and I know analytics isn't necessarily the popular on YouTube, but what I want to do is I want to pull up Max Johnson's QBRs. I don't know if you can really see them that well here. Let me know if you guys can see these well. Okay, so what the QBR does, right? Let's go right here. So you can see the QBR from every game, and the QBR changes over the course of the year. So his QBR for this game won't stay at 35.2, right? So what that number tells you is it's an analytic that uses EPA per play, yards, where you are on the field. And the one thing I like about QBR is that it adjusts for the defense that you play, right? So if you have a QBR of 35.2 versus Alabama, you have to really be bad in the game because your QBR is going to be adjusted higher because Alabama is a really good team, right? So QBR is from 0 to 100, and 50 is a very critical number in QBR. Okay. So, what that 50 means is 50 represents a replacement level player. Okay. So, if you have a QBR of 75, that means you were better and way better than a replacement level quarterback, which once again is a 50. Okay. And what that number tells you is based on 100 performances. If we would have played Alabama 100 times over and Max Johnson played the way that he played versus Alabama, he would win 35 out of 100 times, right? So that's not good. It's not good at all. A QBR of 50 is really bad because that means you're just average. 35.2, and I could be explaining this wrong. 35.2 means you're a major liability to your team, okay? But guess what? Quarterbacks have bad games, okay? Quarterbacks have really bad games. The issue, though, is look at Max Johnson's QBR and notice how many QBRs he has under 50. Now, once again, 50 isn't great. Under 50 means you're a major liability to your team, okay? So you see QBR under 50 against Ole Miss, QBR way under 50 versus Kentucky, QBR around 50 versus Auburn, QBR around 50 versus UCLA, and under 50 versus McNeese. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, King List. It's very interesting. Yeah, they allowed him to be aggressive. I would, every single one of you would be a better linebacker when they don't know what you're going to do, right? Also, what made Joe Burrow great was his QBR was 95. Okay. Which is, that was his average QBR in 2019. Total QBR is what they call it. And that is still the most absurd thing. It really is. Yeah, but you got to take on everything else with Spencer Rattler. I finally got to see that documentary footage. My God, it's not good. All right. Good night, Andrew. We'll see you, man. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. We've got booger bands for sale. 1 for 5, or no, 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for 20. Also, giving away, let me see. My cards are all scattered. Which Joe Burrow card are we going to give away? Gave away that one the other day. Let's give this one away. Paris, thank you for the super chat, my friend. What, you got your Joey B card today? Good stuff, Johnny. Ask Johnny. You know you want a PHL Joe Burrow card. Boom. Right here. The next person that gets booger bands, you have to Venmo me $20, and you're going to get this Joe Burrow card from the Auburn game. You know you want it. And you want to talk about a quarterback where things didn't go his way? Our pass protection in this game was bad. We needed 2 Joe Burrow scrambles to complete 3rd and 9s or longer. We also had a quarterback draw a touchdown in this game. Weather was also kind of funky in this game. You know you want it, right? Next booger band buyer is getting this. The 3 for 20 deal. In fact, we sent a bunch of booger bands out today. We're down to the final 1. But lucky enough, I got a shipment of about 20 more in there. Harris, I keep saying Max didn't fit for Pete's offense this offseason. You need a big arm talent. Max is not as athletic as y'all thought. True. I mean, Max also can't really run. It's an issue, right? And it goes back to and Paris, you made this point before as well. And I don't want this live chat to just be an anti Max Johnson um, live stream, but his dual threat capabilities doesn't exist. So tonight he rushed for negative 15 yards. He just doesn't give you anything as a runner. You know, all the issues Max Johnson has is like pretty much the same issues that Justin Jefferson had. And Justin Jefferson could run. That's the issues. Will we need college football in the metaverse? No, it's just in the metaverse, it's just fencing. You fence against Mark Zuckerberg in the metaverse. Huh? Hey, what's up, Brain? It's been a while. Got another super chat. Antoine. First time super chat. I love it, Antoine. You got the dope mustache and facial hair here too. Thank you so much, Antoine. You get to pick the next topic, Antoine. If you want it to be next head coach, we'll go on ahead and do that. So everyone, welcome Antoine to the chat. And Simplifying, we started without you. Good to hear from you. All right, Antoine wants to talk about head coach. Okay. So Antoine, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Once again, I think this is the first time I've seen you comment and your first time to see a super chat. So everyone, welcome Antoine and his wonderful facial hair. Okay. How do you win the card? It's simple. Venmo or Cash at me $20. You not only get this card, you also get 3 booger bands in the mail. JJ is a part of the booger band club. But yeah, okay. So let me share a few things about the head coach really quickly. Okay, so my dream head coach, Antoine, is Lincoln Riley, right? So Lincoln Riley is by far, to me, the best candidate for LSU. And I think if I had to start a program tomorrow, obviously, you know, you pick Nick Saban, but he's 70, right? You probably still pick Nick Saban because you're getting 10 years out of him, 5 to 10. And I would take those 5 years. Or you could take Kirby Smart. But I think Lincoln's probably the best coach in the sport, not named those two guys. And Lincoln Riley gives you the most valuable asset, right? And this is what I wanted to get into in the later part of tonight's stream is the most valuable asset you can have in football is elite quarterback play, right? Tonight we had everything. We had an elite defense, despite our 5 most talented defensive backs not playing. But if you're not great at quarterback, you're not going to win these games, right? So Lincoln Riley is going to finish in the top 6 again this year with a 5th different quarterback. So I think Lincoln Riley is by far the best candidate for this job, but it's just not going to happen. You're going to have to pay him a lot of money. It's a lateral move, all things considered. LSU is a better program, but Oklahoma, but it's not that much better where you leave where you are now, right? Unless, of course, you pay him. You'd have to pay him 10. You'd have to make him the highest paid coach in the sport for him to make a lateral move. That's just how it works, right? Whatever your field is in, no matter who you are, you don't make lateral moves in life, right? If you have something good going for you already. And that's the thing. You'd have to give him $10 million. Maybe you can make a nepotism hire and say, look, Lincoln, we'll give you $10 million. We'll also hire your brother, who's the OC at SMU, who's having a good year, and we'll let him be the OC and head coach in waiting or whatever. So you'd have to give a lot of consolations such as that, right, to make that happen. Okay? So Lincoln would probably be your guy. Now, after that, it gets interesting for me. Obviously, Lane was initially one of my top 3 candidates. At first, he was my number 1 candidate. But there's a lot of things in recent weeks, but just when you look a little deeper, that it makes you question, right? You start to think about, well, Lane is really heavily penalized. His teams are very penalized, right? He's aggressive on 4th down, but sometimes too aggressive. Okay. So, I'm fading Lane just a little bit. Now you get to the young hot shots, right? Guys that are really talented and are having big years, but it's the only year that they've been great. And that's Dave Aranda and Mel Tucker. I like both of them a lot, but I do think LSU would be better served hiring an offensive coach. Because you saw tonight, you can force a team to 4.9 yards per play, and that team be the number 2 team in the country. But if your offense sucks, it doesn't matter, right? So part of the reason why I am so high on Lincoln Riley is, you saw tonight. I mean, we have plenty of athletes on defense. And it goes back to something that Carvis and I have talked about on this channel as well. It goes back to Antoine. I don't know if you saw this or not. We did a long deep dive on Lincoln Riley, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, right? I was very high at the end of the video because I had a serious dental procedure. So if you want to see, if any of you want to see, you could see. I think someone accused me of being high earlier. I am not high. I am high on life right now. Kidding. That was cheesy. But still, I did a deep dive on the offensive or defensive coach thing, right? And as bad as LSU's defense has been, a few simple changes. I've said this weeks after the Mississippi State game. You can go back to the live streams where I said, all you have to do is just switch a few things. You just got to switch a few things, right? All you got to do is switch a few things. You notice Durante Jones didn't reinvent the wheel defensively tonight, but he got exotic. That's all you got to do. It's honestly not hard. It's not hard. You just got to switch it up some. And over the past 2 years, we haven't done any of that. So defense is something that you can fix a little easier. But offensively is a lot harder to fix. And even though all the rules favor the offense, this year will be the 3rd year since 2018 that we have not averaged 6 yards per play offensively. And teams that get to the college football playoff average 6.2 yards per play. We didn't blitz enough with Bo. 6.2 yards per play. Good night, Don. Welcome to the channel, Don. We hope to see you at more live chats. Thank you as well for super chatting. That always supports. As many of you know, most of my money is made on these live chats based on your super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps, and all of that. You guys pay my rent. You guys support my family. You support my dog. You support my girlfriend. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out. late at night. Yeah, they were predictable blitzes. Um, I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I still don't think we blitzed enough last year. Up and ready football. Yeah, yeah. I think you should think about it. You know what's funny about this day is so I was talking to one of my best friends earlier today, and I'm in his wedding um, next year. And he called me today and he said, Carter, should I bet LSU to cover tonight? And, you know, I said this in my preview that there's no team in college football that I've seen up to this point that Vegas has been so wrong about, like LSU. No one. And the reason why Vegas is so off is because we're a chaotic mess. When you're not well coached, you never know what you're going to get, right? Our pace of play changes, the way we play changes. It's weird. But I called him and he was like, "Hey, should I bet LSU to cover the spread?" I was like, "No." I just don't think LSU should cover because we were missing our best defensive backs, and I thought we were going to do the same thing we did versus Ole Miss. So I called him and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if you should. And that could be the case, Reed. That could be. You know, this is just my dream candidate. Let's see here. Let's get to a few more of these. Y'all are diehard LSU football fans. It's 1 a.m. Love it, man. Freaking love it. It's 1:17 in the morning, depending on where you are. Is there a college football game still on? We always do this an hour in. We do have a bunch of new viewers. Have viewers in Mexico watching us tonight. Let me know where you're watching from. I know Ulysses is in Colorado. Carvis is in Florida. Max is in New York. Cody, what's good, man? Cody's one of our biggest supporters. As you see, he is wearing this shirt. I love it, man. Cody, throwing up the mails, baby. Just got off your second job. Florida, Yusha, and PA by way of Ukraine. In Colorado, current online student. Denver, that's cool. Arizona. Shout out to Valdosta. So it's cool. I've never actually been awake for this. So when the clock on my phone strikes 2, does it go back to 1? Is that how it works? Where you going to Denver on Wednesday? Cool stuff, man. Also, I meant to bring this up. We always say this. Okay. I want to shout out Harvest, thank you for the super chat, man. Do we finish above 500? Good question. I think we finished 6-6. I do. Right. So obviously, you know, we'll get the win there. And Then it's going to come down to can we get a win to close out the year against Arkansas or Texas A&M, right? And yeah, that's going to be kind of weird, right? Where it's going to be one of those weird years where we've actually never really been in this spot where we're going to need a win against Arkansas and A&M to go to a bowl game. And as you guys saw, the players played really hard tonight. They really want to play in a bowl game, right? Mayan King in New York. We got a lot of viewers in South Carolina. Shout out to Marcus. So yeah, Carvis, I think we finish at 500. Obviously, to finish above 500, we would have to 4 and 5. We'd have to go 3-0. So we have to go 3-0 at the end of the season to get that, right? Or we'd have to go 2-1 and win the bowl game. So yeah, we'll right now, obviously Arkansas had a tough game against Mississippi State. They're really solid. I mean, they're not special. They've regressed some. Played a weird game against Mississippi State. Got a very favorable call at the end of that game to move the chains. And yeah, I'm gonna. King Ulysses is like, wait, you're coming to Denver, and what's going on in Denver? Ulysses, you should know. You live there. So always shout out our super fathers on this channel and our super mothers on this channel as well. If you're a father or mother, let me know. I do not have any kids now. Just don't. But we always shout out the super dads of this channel. King Ulysses watched, I don't think he was able to watch, but earlier today he put on a party for his youngest in Denver. So shout out to you, King Ulysses, for being a super dad. It's important. My dad was a part of my life. Wouldn't be where I am now without my father. Wouldn't be where I am now without my mother. So be a super parent out there. If you're not a super parent, get on it. Okay? Brandon says, I think we win out. We'll see. Texas A&M is going to be a little tricky, right? So we end the season with 3 home games. Very interesting. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It sucks we wasted this year. We wasted it. Might not have made the playoff, even if our roster played at its absolute best and we magically made it to the SEC championship game. Georgia is throttling us, but I'll tell you this. This should have been no less than an 8-4, 8-5 team. The Prince turned 8. Happy birthday to the Prince. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just their year. I think Georgia still wins it, right? And that's the kind of scary thing, Houdat. This is, once again, a very weird result. Okay? This is a sign of a weirdly coached team where these point spreads are ridiculous and they're nowhere close to being true. So the UCLA game, we were 4.5-point favorites. It closed at 1.5, and we lose by 11. We're 11-point underdogs against Florida. We beat them by 7. We're 28.5-point underdogs. We lose by 6. You know, these guys out west are paid a lot of money to get this crap accurate. And they're MIT graduates. They know what they're doing. So, in order for them to be as wrong as they've been about LSU, as often as they've been wrong about LSU in these games, lets you know that we're a chaotic mess. We're either going to outplay our spread or we're just going to not come close to it. Exactly, Sip G. And for those that just joined us, this is what I led the live stream with. I was angry. I was angry at this game. Okay. And what made me so angry was it's exactly what we've been talking about. This should have been a 9-3 team. Two best defensive ends out. 5 best defensive backs out. Best defensive performance of the season. Make it make sense. Oh, yeah. Not only best defensive performance of the season, on the road against the most talented team we played up to this point in the season. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. One day there's going to be a book written on how LSU actually prepares for games, because tonight made no sense. It made no rational sense. No sense at all. How does tonight happen with all these different defensive looks that we have not seen all season? There's nothing rational. What we saw tonight was chaos, beautiful chaos. You guys know how I am. I like to be a realist about things. We weren't supposed to win tonight. But if you're not going to bed tonight with your extra hour of sleep tonight, not staying up an extra hour, whatever time we end this live stream, if you're not going to bed thinking to yourself, what just happened? I mean, Ed Orgeron's probably still the coach. You know, that's the thing. He's probably still the coach. If I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes no rational sense. When you know, when I'm still, you guys know I look at this team every day. It's my full-time job. I've never seen anything like it. Now, there's other weird things that happen in college football. Tonight just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because the predictability on defense was an issue the first game of 2020. The first game. Didn't really do anything different the rest of 2020. Then we go into 2021 doing very similar things we did in 2020, thinking that was going to work. And we had a new defensive coordinator. Then we play the same defense every single week this year. Bye week happens. Monday, we had the Ed Orgeron quote. We tweeted it out. It went crazy. We had a player on the team like the tweet where Ed Orgeron was calling out Durante Jones for being predictable, and we were unpredictable all night. Make it make sense. I honestly think the only, and this is, once again, just a late night thought, and I'm saving it for towards the end of this thing. I honestly think Ed Orgeron on Monday finally realized his defense was too predictable. I really do think it. That is the only way to explain what actually happened tonight or last night. That's the only way to explain how this happened. What I think happened was Coach O had what he said about Monday. Him and Durante probably had a meeting on Tuesday about it, or Monday in the afternoon, or whatever. And Ed and Durante said, "Hey, let's do some different things now." And then voila. I think that's the only way. That's the only rational thing, because we saw a lot of things tonight that we had not seen. It. What's up, Trey? Good to see you, man. William, crushing the IPAs. What about Florida? We get the right coach. LSU can be just as powerful as Alabama, if not more, and they proved that tonight. I mean, no, Alabama. Once Saban's done, they won't do what they're doing now, right? Saban's the best to ever do it. Can LSU win a bunch of national championships? Yes, but still, I don't think we'll ever see what Alabama's doing. Uh, so yeah, in the press conference, once again, I didn't get to see the press conference. I wish I would have had time to do so before. For those that don't know, I did an event earlier tonight, which is why we did the midnight live stream. In the press conference, he talked about an analyst giving them fresh ideas for the defense this game. I'd love to know who the analyst is. Then we have a buy to work things out. Yeah, absolutely. And it definitely helped, but it shouldn't have taken a buy to work some of the things. Seemed like yesterday, Rain getting that extra hour of sleep, man. He's hallucinating. Let's see. That's what I'm saying. It's just basic stuff, right? Once again, and it's not so much blitzing, right? It's not any particular kind of blitz. It's just trying it or doing something different, right? Dan Mullen's gone after the season. So who would be opposed to a Mel Tucker, uh, Dan Mullen coaching staff? Durante Jones is DC. You know, it's funny. I was reading about Miss Terry Saban. She is a real big part of his success, right? It was weird. You know, Saban talked about this on a show this week, that Miss Terry was the one who actually scouted LSU for him. And it was such a cool story, right? I won't spend too much time on it, but it's cool because, you know, Miss Terry is a big reason why Nick went to LSU. Yeah, Will Anderson's a really good player. Kudos to him, right? What sucks is he'll be back next year. It would be smart for Will Anderson. Will, if you're watching this right now, opt out. There's no reason for you to play next season. I believe Saban as great as people as make him. I've watched him since Cleveland. The coaches he has faced has been trash. Miles O. Mark Dan Pitiful. So Nick Saban in the toughest conference in America, who only missed the playoff because he played that guy in the greatest team of all time. Saban is that guy. And we wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for Nick Saban. Okay? Trust me, I like Saban a lot for what he did for us. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Wouldn't have the history we have if it wasn't for that great 03 team. Yeah, so he beat the SEC in the early 2000s, and he's been the best coach in the SEC wire to wire outside of Mullen. Not Mullen, Meyer. It's great. I don't understand why we have to, yeah, I hate Nick Saban because he coaches Alabama. Nothing against him personally. Yeah, SEC East opponents. Yeah, it's helped. I will say this. The cross-division rival rule has been BS. You won't find any more harsh critic of that rule than me. I hate it. I'm a stickler for schedule balance. And in the sport where your regular season matters more than anything else, in the conference that says it's the best in America, it has the dumbest schedule format I think I've ever seen. That doesn't make any sense. And I love the SEC. And I've gone to SEC media days, gotten scowls, brought it up to freaking the commissioner in the SEC, Greg Sankey. I used to be able to interview Greg Sankey at SEC Media Days. So I'm like, hey, are you ever going to change this cross division rival or stretch the schedule out? I mean, it's without a doubt, Nick Saban has been given unbelievable schedules to work with. College football is a weird sport where we have these weird schedule formats that are not even at all. It's just weird. I don't want to get too deep into like the weirdness of college football, but Alabama has a huge advantage with that cross division rival BS. Okay, and finally, this is the first year. I don't even know if Tennessee ended up beating Kentucky, but this is the first year Tennessee has looked competent, right? Yeah, Steve and Spurrier. You can make the case Spurrier is number 3 behind. No, he is number 3 behind Mullen and Mullen. I keep saying it. Urban Meyer and Nick Saban are 1 and 2. Saban 1, Meyer 2, Spurrier 3. I just brought Kim and Jay to Baton Rouge, so you can assume the next head coach will be a good one. Tennessee won? Good. It's up there, Christian. I would say Auburn's schedule has been tougher than ours because they have to play Georgia every year, right? And Georgia's schedule has been Georgia. Auburn's schedule has been slightly tougher than ours, and Arkansas's had some just brutal schedules. But yeah, our schedules have definitely been tougher than Alabama's. I hope so. If you're an LSU fan, you want Oklahoma and Texas to happen sooner rather than later. Okay, so let's see Reed dig himself in a hole deeper. Name me another coach in the SEC since Saban has gotten there that has won a natty outside of Urban Meyer, who left and went to OSU. Now name another good head coach he has to face. Okay. National championships are not a good barometer of great coaches unless you win multiple, right? But when you win multiple, that means that there's not going to be that many other coaches that have national championships. You could make a really strong case that there are far more elite coaches who don't win national championships that do. Okay. Perfect example. The guy who coached the greatest team of all time, mollywopped Dabo Swinney, mollywopped Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley, mollywopped Kirby Smart, and before that, mollywopped Jimbo Fisher to win a national championship to close out the year. Games weren't really that close outside of the Clemson game. Double digit victories, 3 blowouts. And obviously that man was at Orgeron, right? We've had 3 not great head coaches win national championships. Since when? 2010? 2007. So yeah, national championship is not really that great of a barometer of whether or not you're a good coach. A good coach is a guy who can do it 5 to 10 years at a time. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about Jimbo. There's some red flags there as far as yards per players and all that stuff's concerned. But are you kidding me? I mean, this dude landed Walter Nolan. A&M was not in the Walter Nolan race at all. Jimbo's killing it right now, recruiting. Killing it. Okay. I hate to say it, but he's really good. He's just good. Jimbo's really good at running a program. Not everybody's great, but Jimbo's great. Don Shula, Billy Napier, Jimmy Johnson. I love it. All 3 deserve to be in the same category. This comment, I want to screenshot this comment and put it over my wall right there. Don Shula, Jimmy Johnson, Billy Napier. All 3 deserve to be in the same category, by the way. Can you map out what you think conference alignment looks like when OU and Texas joins the SEC? Good job, Grant. Once again, what's really cool is Grant is one of the few viewers that I've gotten to meet before I even started this channel. And Grant and I were really close friends in college. By the way, I will be at the LSU Arkansas game next weekend. So if you have a tailgate, I'd love to come hang out. So yeah. I think they're going to do the pod system, Grant. I hope that's what they do. I hope they do the pod system and they do SEC pod system and they put it in a 9-game conference schedule where you play the team in your pod. There's obviously going to be 16 teams. So you have 4 pods of 4 teams and you play every team in your conference every year. And then the way the pods would work out is that you play every team in the SEC every other year, which means you are going to every SEC stadium twice every 4 years, which makes it better if you're a player in the Southeastern Conference that you get to go to all the stadiums. Because as many of you know, don't get to visit all the SEC stadiums when you play. So what the heck is the point of a conference when you don't play everyone in your conference? The point of a conference is to, have a conference where you play every team in your conference, right? So yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Jimbo's just good. Also factor in that he got the kid from Zachary, the quarterback from Zachary. It's not pretty with Jimbo. His offenses really haven't been like all that modern. His offenses haven't really been all that elite. Um, but there's more to running a program than yards per play. And I know I say yards per play a lot. It is a good metric. It's a more efficient metric based on just the basic statistics that we have. Still, Jimbo's good. Or we kick some people out of the conference, like guaranteed SEC wins, such as South Carolina, Mississippi, and Vandy. Okay, so this is a great question, Danielle. Mississippi State's had a good year this year. South Carolina has actually been a little better than I thought. I mean, they're still bad, and Vanderbilt's just awful. However, once again, if you're an LSU fan, you want the conference to remain the same. You want 16 teams in your conference because, okay, once again, this goes back to Reed's point about, the SEC schedules. You want to do whatever it takes to get the cross division rival rule away. It's unfair that we have to play Florida every year, even though we beat them a lot. It's unfair we have to play them every year, and Bama gets Tennessee, right? So yeah. Yeah, Schellenberger's great. No, you're not gonna RIP Howard Schellenberger. He's not the best of all time. Now, I'll tell you this: you can make a case that Bill Snyder is the greatest coach of all time. You can, right? If you want to talk about, you know, making something out of nothing, Bill Snyder is probably up there. So yeah. All right, guys, we've gone a little later than I thought. I didn't know we'd have 85 people. I could stay up all night, but I do want to start my film study for tomorrow. I know a lot of you want to break down a bunch of plays. Let me know, guys. Do you still want to do a 7 p.m. film study tomorrow? Let me know. Comment. I won't do one if you guys don't want one because obviously we're all staying up really late. If you guys want a 7 p.m. film study, let me know because I will happily do that. Who that? Good night, guys. So you guys want to do the 7 p.m. film study? Let me see here. I haven't even finished the poll question here. Let's see this. I know Ulysses would be there. I don't have to worry about you. And the prince turning 8. That's great, man. Where was my birthday invite? Me and Haley would have flown up to Denver. That'd be a good pod to be in. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be fun. That'd be a really fun pod. Winston made Jimbo. You can make that case. You can make that case. I don't think it's a particularly strong one. We can make that case. All right, guys. Let's do it. I might be sober enough to be coherent enough for a 7 p.m. film study. No. This makes me excited. So I saw a photo of him on the field, but did he actually play? Semper Fi, you go to every St. Thomas More game. I need better Walker Howard updates from you. Okay. I need a game scanner report. I want you to put tracking data on the football so I can see the velocity on his throws. I want to know I want to know everything. I want to know Walker Howard's body language on the sideline. I want to know his thoughts on pineapple on pizza. I want everything. I want a full scanner report, Semper Fi. Okay? I want to know if he thought Godfather 3 was good. Okay? That's what I want to know. Semper Fi, if I don't have that kind of report, I'm blocking you. I'm banning you from the channel. I need him to know. I want to know if he thinks the best Godfather scene is Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes. That's a good judge of whether or not he's a good quarterback. 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. Did he actually play? I thought they said he would be ready for the state championship game. Do not troll me with this. Okay. William, no cursing in here. Even the A word. I keep it safe, man. Because if I lose monetization status on YouTube, I starve. And I can't starve because I'm fat. Hey, man, I have to watch my daughter dance too, man. That's why I'm here. I'm there. Okay. Your daughter probably dances at halftime, right? So there's no breaks. Did Walker Howard really play? This dude is a freaking. I'm telling you, man. He's not a real human being. He's not. The guy, he's not real. If he played injured, I love it. Yeah, we could talk some Jameis. I wonder if all this Max slander is going to get Big Bad Brad to block me on TikTok. I hope not. Big Bad Brad, backed by popular demand. I love the trick shots from Brad Johnson. I would be really sad. Big Bad Brad, backed by popular demand. music theory paper and drink the last of my beer. Gotta tell you this. So I DJ'd a wedding earlier. Why is that song by Dua Lipa, Levitating, so good? And I'm a sucker for a good like pop hit. Why is that song so good? Like I don't know why that song is so good. It seems like it's the poppiest pop song ever made. It's just good. It's just a good song. Refrigerator, refrigerator, feet max. Johnny, you're getting more creative. I'm still shocked. Let's see. We have $56 in super chats. I'm still shocked. You did. No one joined Johnny and the Joe Burrow card fan club and the Booger Band Club. Shocked. Is it not a banger? It is such a great song, man. I don't know why. I have no idea. Also, this is true. Okay. If you have a wedding in the South, no matter the demographic you played for. So tonight's wedding, it was half Hispanics, and it was actually a pretty good mixed crowd, right? I would say half Hispanics. It was just great. It really was. But if you play Boosie, everybody goes crazy. I'm telling you. Dude, when I play Set It Off, are you kidding me? That's wild. When you play Set It Off. And it's kind of weird, right? The crowd gets a little more hype when you play Set It Off compared to Wipe Me Down. Because like Wipe Me Down is like a bigger hit, but when you play Set It Off, people go wild for Set It Off. It's kind of weird though, because like Nick, he's not watching, but you guys remember this? It's like a few months ago. There was a viewer, Nick, who's like a recruiting expert, and he randomly just wrote in the chat that Boosie has watched my channel before. And I've yet to be able to confirm or deny this very simple thing. And as many of you know, Boosie makes me happy. His music makes me really happy. I'm not much of a music guy as far as like listening to music. The Boosie just makes me really happy. Love it. I'm over the Jimbo hype, and if you're Jimbo, why would you leave to build up and I'm now all money back? And yeah, I don't. Once again, Jimbo wins a tie. Here's why I don't think Jimbo should go to LSU. If I were Jimbo Fisher, right? Jimbo, if he wins a national championship at Texas A&M, they're building a statue of him yesterday, right? If you win a national championship at LSU, you're just another guy, right? But I'm telling you, when you play Set It Off doesn't come close to Wipe Me Down. I don't know why that is, but man, it's wild. But the wedding was fun. It was fun. Let's see here. Any updates on your future coach rankings? What's good, Van? Future coach rankings. Okay. Yeah, I touched on this earlier with the super chat. Lincoln is still number one. Lincoln is just so far ahead. Number one. John, why are you coming to me like that, man? Mm. You know what's funny? The venue that I did tonight, what I also saw Boosie in that same venue that I actually did did the wedding. God, put on an epic show. Epic show, man. His hype video for the concert was amazing too. I mean, look, if if you're in the South, doesn't matter the demographic of the wedding. You play Boosie, everybody's gonna go to the dance floor. But it's still weird though. It's still so weird, right? Levitating, Dua Lipa into Baby, right? I played that song. Still amazing how freaking good that song is. I don't know what it is. It's the cheesiest pop song. It's just a banger. It's just a banger. Erectile disfigurement? Howdy. If you are a loved one. Huh? Let's see. Is LSU skipping the bowl eligibility for the infractions? No, I think that was just last year. If they are eligible for the bowl, they should go. Okay. So this, I did a whole spiel on this recently. If you get invited to a bowl, okay, that is wild. So I just watched it. Dang it. I wanted to see it happen actually on my phone. It's 101. I wanted to see it go from 2 to 1. Does it so when the clock hits 2, does it just stay at 1? I've always wanted to stay up and look at this. And this is the first. It's the first time I've seen it. With a name like that, you seem like you would love torture. I've always wanted to look at it. I've always wanted to look at it, and I freaking missed it. This was my one opportunity, and I missed it because you're sitting here talking about Boosie songs. LSU versus Cincy in the bowl game. Why not? I like this, especially with a name like Chet. I actually do believe you. I could see Chet spitting in a platoon, strapping on his Velcro shoes, and then typing this comment. Back in my day, we had to change the clocks ourselves. I could see with a name like Chet. Chet, with your name, if your name is really Chet, I know for sure you were born in 1827. I mean, what kind of name is Chet? I'm kidding. I know Sip, and I missed it. Dealing with y'all. Kidding. Yeah, Reed, would you? Can't get to the playoff. At some point, you have to realize you've maximized what you've maximized. And once Ritter leaves, wouldn't you leave too? Oh man, Max Johnson or Brandon Harris. You know what's funny? You know what's sort of weird about Brandon Harris? So we were talking about this earlier. I think Trey. I don't know if Trey is still in here. Brandon Harris was one of the better statistical high school quarterbacks coming to LSU, right? So we did a deep dive on this in the offseason that a lot of quarterback recruits in general, a surprising number of them don't dominate in high school. So TJ Finley didn't have great high school stats. Max Johnson didn't, but Brandon Harris did. His stats were phenomenal. So it's not like it doesn't tell you 100% who's actually going to be a great quarterback or not. With that said, I think Brandon Harris and Max Johnson have a lot in common. Really smart. You could see both of them being coaches one day. I mean, Brandon Harris is a coach, but they played too early. They were ruined. And it's ironic because Brandon Harris's first start was the Auburn game. And I think Max Johnson's first game action was also at Auburn. Harris's first start was at Auburn. I think Max's first snaps were at Auburn as well. His first snaps, period. It's interesting, though. I still think Brandon Harris was ruined by Les Miles. I just refuse. But then he went to North Carolina. He wasn't really that great. Yeah, Max is bad. Max is an issue. When you have a 35.2 QBR and he's had 5 games where his QBR is under 50, he's an issue, right? And I hate it because Max says and does all the right things. He's put in front of the media, having to answer questions about the offense, which, by the way, once again, I know this seems like a weird thing to bring up. I don't like the fact that coordinators are not available to the media. And the reason why I don't is the players who are not compensated have to speak to the media. I don't know, they're compensated with scholarships and all of that, whatever. And that's great. But these coordinators who make 7-figure, these coordinators who make just a stupid amount of money don't have to ever answer to anyone, right? Some coordinators are made available to the media. I think it should be necessary. First off, an assistant coach should never make north of $1 million. That's just still ridiculous to me. And if you do, you deserve to. I mean, you should have to answer questions instead of your players having to do that. I just hate that. It's just crazy. Well, all right, guys. I said we would go an hour. We've gone 2. Yeah, I agree with this too. Referees should also, at least the white hat, should have to answer questions. But yeah, I just find it ridiculous because also the coordinators have a completely different job of the head coach, especially if your head coach is not the play caller. I just hate that. I really do. I don't know. Well, all right, guys. I actually know that Sip has been here chatting the entire time. So, Sip, I appreciate you. You are the real MVP, as well as our super chatters. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Here's a cool thing. I'll keep it going. So in the next 2 minutes, if we get another super chat, we'll keep this party going. There's still 71 of you in here. I will happily keep this party going. Okay, so don't forget tomorrow night at 7, or I say tomorrow night, tonight, we will have a film study that will, I might just stay up all night and just do it. We shall see. It's crazy, Damon Clark, man. Wait, I forgot about the Kamaru Usman fight. Did he win? Wait, did he win? TJ, where you been, man? Wait, did Usman win? Please tell me he did. I know one of you guys were watching the fight. I don't even know if the fight ended or started. Uh, um, I don't. Did that fight? So it was a good fight. Okay, good. Covington gave him a good fight. I like Usman. Okay, I'm not a big UFC guy, but I do watch the fights. Not tonight, obviously. God, I forgot about Usman fight. Mm. Oh, the stream started in the 5th round. Oh man, I should have waited until it ended. Usman won. Good. Was it close? Was it 3-2 or was it 4-1? Crazy. No wonder why. No wonder why my dad or my uncle didn't watch. That's crazy. Irish Premier League soccer? What? You had a 3-2? Cool. Sip G smoking meats this time of night? Really, Sip G? Doing some briskets? Good, man. Good for Colby. So Usman won the first 3 for sure. Cool. Simplify. Simplify. I need to come catch a St. Thomas More game. I kind of want to see Walker Howard in person. Texas lost tonight? You guys ever seen that before? You see, it's the horns down. That's cool, Simplify. Let me know if they, can't come Friday. How about that Cam Lewis sack? We haven't talked much about that. Oh, yeah, Lafayette. Forgot about all the UFC fighters. Well, all right, guys. Reed, you comment too much to not have your actual photo. We want your actual photo on the next live chat. If not, I'm blocking you. We will see you tomorrow. tonight at 7 p.m. Central. Okay. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. I'm serious, Reed. And if you guys, I will be posting more on this right here. All right. Please, if you can, if you are, this is free, totally free. Okay. If you want to support me, go to this link and put your email address in there. Once again, I don't do anything crazy with your email other than send you really cool newsletters. I haven't posted one in a while. I focus mostly on YouTube, but I do want to get back into writing. So if you like LSU writing, there you go. And tonight, we got some leftover pizza. Let's go.